Please be in focus. I've got 8 Casios in my watch collection. I've got one of these, 3 of these, one of them which I modded. It was an inverted display and I replaced the polarizing filter on it to put it back to normal. Then I've got a G-Shock in a custom case, and I've got 2 cases for this, but I've got it in the gold one at the moment. And I've got the Casio that I grew up with when I was a kid as well. That's still going strong. Although I did have to replace the rubber strap on that one. It disintegrated in the box. And that brings me to this video, the GA-2100. I've been thinking about getting one of those for years now. I just never went for it because I guess I was on the fence with which case I wanted to get to put it in. And I was looking around on AliExpress at all the different cases that you can get for the GA-2100, and I found this one. Unlike the other ones that are based on the AP Royal Oak, this one is less square. What is it? Dodecahedron or something like that. Dohedron or something. I looked it up. I've promptly forgotten it.
A 12-sided polygon, dodecagon.
So it's a 12-sided shape on the bezel. And personally, I just couldn't go for something that looked a bit too square when we've got a round dial, you know, a sort of round peg square hole. I just didn't like that idea. So I wanted one that looked more circular, and I really like the look of this one because it just gives me sort of early 2000s vibes. Like if you asked someone in the late 90s or the early 2000s, what would the watch of the future look like? This comes to mind, and I really like that aesthetic. So in this video, I'm not really going to talk about the functionality of the GA-2100 itself because I'm not really that familiar with it. When I got the watch, I just set my location and it automatically set the time, and then I just left it. So I'm not really familiar with the rest of the functionality. So this video is just going to be my sort of simple impressions of the case and GA-2100 combination. So first we're going to just do a quick unboxing of the watch, then we're going to do a quick unboxing of the case, have a quick look at them, and then we'll get straight into putting the GA-2100 module into the new case. And just because I want to protect it as much as I can, I'm going to put a screen protector on there as well. So we'll get into that, and then I'll give you my impressions on it. This is going to be difficult to navigate around the mirror, and yet you get the best light when the mirror's right there. So obviously, to start with, we've got the watch itself, the Casio G-Shock GA-2100. The GA-2100 1AER. This is the black model, this is the simple one, but let's unbox it. This is brand new, bought this on Amazon, cost me 80 quid. Manual of sorts. Another one. I wonder if they're the same thing. Probably not. Yeah, this one's much heftier. Well, there's probably many languages in there. Gosh, that's a bit of a... Look how crushed that is. And there it is. It's a smart looking thing, isn't it? I cannot wait to get it in the case. Although to be fair, I have yet to break the seal on this box down here, so I have... Let's hope that it's alright in there. Yeah, that's pretty good. And the installation of the case is fairly simple. You just remove these screws and take the module out and swap it into the other one. It'll only take a few minutes. Yeah, let's zoom in on that. Look at that. I'll have to set the time on it as well, but I'll do that at the end. Okay, so that's the watch. Obviously, the majority of this we're going to be removing. It's a shame that you can't just buy the module on its own and save yourself some money. But, oh well. Yeah, that is. I like this combination with the black dial, the grey text on there, and then the white hands and indices. It looks pretty smart. It's going to look even better in this case. Then in here, I've just got some screen protectors for the glass. Obviously, want to make sure that it remains scratch-free. This is a pack of 3, I believe. Yeah, we've got the wipes in there. What's in there? Oh. Suction cup to grab the screen protector and then plonk it on there. Yeah, so we've got 3, so there's room for mistakes. It's simple enough, you know, you just use an alcohol wipe to clean the glass and then stick the thing on there and hope you didn't get any dust particles on there. I'll use the air puffer to blow them off if I can. And then last but not least, why don't we crack this open and see the case inside. So the watch itself was £80. This was 65. I'm going to double check that. Yeah, 64.99 all included. So 65 quid. It comes in a box just like this one. What else is in there? Oh, wow! It even comes with the necessary screwdrivers to get everything installed. Not bad. There's some weight to that as well. They're not. I've seen much worse screwdrivers included with things like this, but I suppose for 65 quid. And this one's not crumpled up. Wow, isn't that interesting that it comes in a box that's pretty much identical? Except for the pattern, obviously. We've got extra screws in there as well. My goodness. Get that off there. Oh my goodness, look at that. I'll unwrap the bracelet at the end once we've got it all in there. So the reason I went for this style in particular, which costs a little bit more than the other versions, is because it's got more sides to this shape here. I just think it has a better sort of rounder look, which is appropriate for a round dial rather than having a round dial and then a square case. It's just not something that I find particularly appealing. So when I saw this, I had to have this one because I've been interested in getting one of these G-Shocks and modding it for a few years now. But as soon as I saw this is the one I wanted. So what I'm thinking is I will put the screen protector on after it goes in here. I'll clear away all the boxes, and then we'll get to removing the screws and putting the module in here. And this one comes with its own screws. Are they flatheads? They are. Get these spring bars out. 1, 2. That thing is huge. I should take off my watch. That's quite big on my small wrist. Oh well, I'll take out as many links as I can. Let's get that screen cleaned up and get one of these protectors on it. Yeah, that looks clean. As you can see, I don't see any marks on it. So I've stuck the little suction cup on it. Then we'll just peel this off, facing downwards. And that is on. Alright, let's peel this off. This is why I did it in the case, with the hopes that the case would sort of guide the protector into the middle so that I could get it aligned properly. We got 3 tries at this, if this turns out to be bad. So you can still see the air pockets just there, the air bubbles. There's no way there was dust underneath there. Yeah, there was. Yeah, there is something trapped under there. That's ridiculous. You can see it right there, look. Right next to the tip of my finger. Can't believe you just thrown away a screen protector. Oh well. Using finger cots here is a good idea, because then potentially the oils from your fingers aren't transferred onto the fabric or the alcohol wipe. Alright, that's it. There better not be anything under it this time, because we're kinda screwed. And it cost me like £7. Whatever, that'll have to do. As long as the screen of the watch is now protected by this piece of glass. Still, can't believe I had to go through all 3. I do not like putting on screen protectors. It's a real pain to get all the dust and particles away and get it on there. Oh well. So there you go, it's a pretty simple process, to be honest. But I'm gutted about the screen protector. I had to use all 3 of them because there was always like a little particle underneath, and this isn't a dust-free environment. So I think on the 3rd try I don't notice anything under the crystal or the screen protector, but there probably is. But you know, as long as it keeps the screen of the GA-2100 protected from any scratches, I'm happy. So at least I got it on the 3rd try, because that was the last one. Anyway, I'm going to start with the cons of this, my complaints, because then I can get them out of the way. So first of all, 65 quid for this case. I'm just not happy about that price. A lot of the other cases for the GA-2100 are sort of 35 to 40 quid, maybe 45. So 65 for this one's a bit steep, and I think maybe it's just because this particular version that I've gone for here is not as common as the others, and so the price reflects that. But who knows, maybe I just got ripped off, I don't know. But hopefully in the future, if you're interested in this design as well, it comes down in price, because I think 40 quid is a more reasonable one. I think at 65 quid I would expect this to have a piece of glass embedded in it, so you don't need a screen protector. But, that's a small nitpick. I get what these are, and I don't know. So next, the bracelet on here. This on the inside of this, on this part here, it's just a bit rough around the edges. It's a bit scruffy on the wrist, and so it can be uncomfortable at times. But it's not the worst bracelet I've ever had, but it's a little disappointing, especially again for how much I paid. But that's why I just think this is the same quality as all the other ones out there that are 25 quid cheaper. And so I really think this is just, my expectations are based on how much I paid, and I just think that if this was, I wouldn't be as bothered by it at 40 quid, but maybe at some point in the future I'll get my rotary tool and just sort of soften these inner edges here to stop that scratchy feeling on the wrist. My other complaint is the bracelet itself. On my small wrist, I've got a 6-inch wrist. If I remove every single link from the bracelet, it's too tight, and if I add one more link to it, it's too loose. So I have to choose between it being too tight or too loose, and I opted for too loose because although you can move it up and down on the wrist quite freely, it's much more comfortable than it being too tight, and with the butterfly clasp, it just digs into your wrist horribly and it's really uncomfortable. And that leads to my other complaint really, but it's not as much a complaint as it is just a preference. I'm not a fan of butterfly clasps. They have a nice symmetry to them, but I just prefer, shall we say, the fold over deployment clasp to a butterfly clasp. It's just, I have this sort of natural action when I put a watch on to flick it on my wrist and close it shut. Close it shut? The natural action of me putting it on my wrist and closing the clasp, it's just not there with a butterfly clasp, and it's a bit more fidgety for me. And they can dig into the wrist more. I've got a leather strap with a butterfly clasp on it, and it's really uncomfortable. But that's more of a preference anyway. And as for the GA-2100 itself, my only real complaint is the lack of loom on the indices. I know that you can get kits or different parts on AliExpress to modify and customize these GA-2100s. You can get new chapter rings, new index markers, loomed ones, new dials, hands. You can get all those things. I wanted to leave this one stock. I didn't want to go inside it. You know, I've built so many watches, and every time I look at them, they're begging me to look at their flaws because I put them together, and so I really didn't want to go inside this one. And it's just disappointing that the indices are not loomed by default, because the loom on the hands is perfectly fine. It's nice. I just wish that there was matching loom on the indices. It does have a light though. You can press a button on the case and there's a nice light, especially in the dark. It lights it from the bottom corner and it looks quite cool. I've got no complaints about that. You're going to loom the hands, you might as well loom the indexes while you're at it. Right, let's get into the pros. So I just think this thing looks really cool. I don't really know what else to say about it, how to describe it. I mean, I like the screws here on the bezel. I think they're a nice touch. I think I prefer them to the version that doesn't have them there. I think it looks a bit sort of too plain without them. I think this thing gives off a really early 2000s or late 90s secret agent gadget watch kind of feel. Sort of PlayStation 2 or maybe even PS1, because of that sort of polygonal look where it almost looks like a circle but like a low poly version. So it just looks like a gadget watch because it's kind of got a robust design to it as well. And I do quite like the AP style bracelet on there with the flat reflective sides and the brushed texture with those little bits in the middle connecting the links together. I think it looks really cool. I just think it looks cool. It just looks like this cool future watch. I also think the GA-2100 really goes nicely in a case like this. Personally, I'm not really a fan of the strongly embossed waffle dials with the small text on them, like the APs or the oak style watches. But with this particular design on the GA-2100, with its kind of robust, chunky look with those big indices and those sub-dials, I think it goes really nicely with the angular design of this case. And again, I just think it looks really cool. Like, I've been wearing this watch for 3 weeks now, and I can't get enough of it. I think it looks really awesome. I also like the smooth finish on the dial as well. It's got a sort of stealthy look to it because it's not really matte finish, it's not glossy or anything, it's just kind of smooth, and especially with those inverted digital screens at the bottom there and that nice day of the week sub dial. I don't know, I just think it looks really cool, especially with the chapter ring as well. It's got these minute markers on it, but they're stealthy. They're just engraved on there, but they're not filled in with the white like the indexes are. I think my only complaint really is I wish the text on the dial, the G-Shock Casio and the WR20 bar, was bolder, a more brighter white, or at least a brighter grey, similar to the indexes. I think they're just a little bit too dark grey for my taste in terms of, I don't know, they just blend in with the dial a bit, especially in low light, and it would be nice if they sort of popped out a bit more, but maybe again it ties into that stealthy look, and maybe that's what they were going for with this watch. But I mean, I love the way the text looks on the dial, the layout, the font. It's just really cool, and I just really like it. I mean, that's why I haven't been able to take it off for several weeks. And there's this voice in the back of my head that's saying, if you're going to be doing the video on it, keep wearing it so that you can give a better impression of how it wears. And it's fairly comfortable, just to get back to that. I just wish that it wasn't so rough around the edges on the bracelet, and I would have preferred a fold-over clasp for comfort. Because then you could have micro adjust, which is a shame. These kinds of clasps, they don't have any micro adjust, which is disappointing. But if they're going for the aesthetic, then I understand why they've chosen that. But yeah, all in all, I like it. I think it's really cool. It's a shame about the price. If it was cheaper, I'd be more happy with it. But I'm still pleased to have it in my collection because I like the way it looks. I really like the GA-2100 style. And another pro for this, actually, before I forget, having the case on it made putting the screen protector on much easier. So if you do go for this and you want to do it and you want to put a screen protector on, put it in the case first. It just helps guide the screen protector more to the center. And the last thing you want to do is put the screen protector on and then you've got it on slightly offset, so when you go to put the case on it, it gets obstructed by the screen protector, which would be disappointing. So anyway, yeah, those are my impressions of it. I like it. I think it's cool. Let me know what you think about it in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed this sort of simple, it's not really a build of a watch, it's just a quick and easy mod, but after doing lots of builds, I welcome stuff like this because it's easy, it's simple, and it makes it a bit more fun and less stressful. So anyway, I'm done rambling for now. There's only so many times I can sit here and repeat myself, and I know that I have a habit of doing that. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you for watching. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next one.